Today I wanted to show you how I winter sow without milk jugs. When you have a space like this, an unheated greenhouse, a cold frame, or even a simple row cover, you don't need to go through the trouble of gathering milk jugs, cutting them in half, planting in them, duct taping them, although that works great if you don't have a space like this. But if you do, you can simply just sow your seeds in trays like this meat tray, or you can use pots, and it's really not difficult. There are a few key benefits to winter sowing like this versus starting seeds indoors. I do both. One of the reasons I like to start some of my seeds outside is a lot of them require cold stratification in order to germinate. That's a period of cold, and some seeds actually like fluctuating temperatures of cold. Cleome is like this, so it really gives them that natural environment that really makes them want to germinate. This also works well even if you just want to take some of your seeds and put them out here just for a few weeks to increase the germination rate if you've had issues with them. It's also great because obviously you don't need any grow lights. You just, are using the sun. So if you're limited on space under your grow lights, this is a great way to expand it, or if you don't have any lights at all, this works well too. Another key benefit of this is you don't really have to worry about timing so bad as when you're starting indoors, because you can start this in January. I've done that before. This year I started in February. Even if you don't get to it until March, that's fine as long as there's still some cold weather. The seeds just naturally go through that period of cold, and then when it warms up, they just know when to germinate, and you don't really have to worry about it. And also in the end, they're stronger because plants that grow in cooler temperatures, they really concentrate on root growth. So you have a plant that's really tough and ready to go. And also you don't have to worry about hardening off because the seeds, they're already exposed to the elements being outside. So you have tough seedlings in the end that you can just put right in the garden. So winter sowing works really great for perennials because a lot of perennials do like to go through that cold period. It also works for hardy annuals. By the way, if you are looking for good perennials to start from seed, I did make a guide that has my favorites. They're easy to start from seed and they're great plants, so if you want to pick that up, I'll leave it in the description. Some of the things I'm growing, this is my first time growing Hellebores from seed. I'm kind of excited about this. This is not on my list of easy things to grow from seed because Hellebores can be tricky. Some of them can take a couple of years even to germinate, but this particular Hellebore is supposed to germinate pretty easily, but I'm not going to see flowers for a few years. So it's quite a process, but Hellebores are really expensive. If you go to get one plant, you're going to spend $25 or $30. So I got 100 seeds. So if I have even 50% success, I'm going to be in good shape. So I got those seeds from outsidepride.com, and on their website it said they like a period of cold stratification anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. So I do have 2 trays of them. So in 6 weeks, I'm definitely going to bring at least one of the trays inside and put it on my heat mat and then under grow lights. I might leave the other tray in here to experiment and see how it does. Another thing I'm trying for the first time this year is hostas. They had hosta seeds. These, when I went to plant them, they're very papery and a lot of them were broken. So I don't know how this is going to be, but a lot of them were in good shape. I was just really gentle with them. And again, on their website, it said 4 to 6 weeks cold stratification. So these I'm at least going to leave in here for 6 weeks, and then I might go ahead and put them on the heat mat and inside under grow lights. You don't have to do that. You could just leave these out here and they will germinate naturally and they'll be tough plants. But if you're excited about them like I am, this is a hosta mix. So I'm really excited to see the different kinds of hostas in here. That's also what I'm doing with my pansies. I had these pansies, Swiss Giants, and another antique looking pansy. I grew these last year and I didn't do any cold stratification. I didn't have a great germination rate. So I looked it up and they do benefit from 3 weeks of cold stratification. So I'm going to leave these out here for a few weeks and then bring them in because I do want blooms earlier. Yeah, English daisies, again, I planted these before without any cold stratification and I didn't have a problem, but they do like cold stratification. So just to get a better germination rate, I'm leaving them out here for a few weeks and then I'm going to bring them in and grow them on inside. California poppies, these do like cold stratification, same thing, a few weeks. Some people take their poppy seeds and they just scatter them on the snow in the winter and they have beautiful poppies in the summer. I tried that. It didn't work for me. I didn't have a single poppy come up, but just starting them ahead of time in pots has worked well for me. Some tips for success. Make sure you keep them watered. You don't have to water a lot in the cold, but you do want to definitely keep an eye on them, just because, just like your seeds inside, you don't want to let them dry out. You know, you want to make sure when you check on them the soil is looking dark. If you have a deep freeze, like you go down to say like 20 degrees, you may come out here and they look completely dry, but don't freak out. As long as you've been on top of watering them, they're fine. It just looks dry when they're frozen. The other thing is you wouldn't want to leave your cold frame or your greenhouse closed up on a sunny day, because it'll get too warm in here and that will confuse the seeds. They'll germinate prematurely and then they won't be able to handle the cold that's coming. So I like to leave this door open during the day. I close it at night because at nighttime is when critters tend to, you know, want to come in and see what's going on and destroy all your seedlings. I also like to use my window in the back. Sometimes I'll just use that, just so I can leave it open day and night and not worry, because nothing climbs through the window, thankfully. If you are using, you know, some sort of container, because you can do this, you can mimic this, make a mini cold frame with like a big Rubbermaid tub. But if you're doing that, you just want to make sure you put holes in the lid, or at least in the sides, so that it doesn't get too hot in there. And that would work fine. You just got to make sure you put it somewhere it's not going to blow away. So I hope this video gave you some ideas for your own winter sowing setup. If you do try winter sowing this year, let me know. I'd love to know what you're growing. And if you want some ideas for easy perennials to grow from seed, don't forget to pick up the free guide. Take care. Thanks for watching.